she's got one foot and daddy ain't got none. Two folks got but 5 toes, they can't walk near mine run. Rock and roll and hopping round the place, get to drinking and they wheelchair race. 5 toes cleaner, no more, no less. 5 little bees, they're missing all the rest.
I mean, especially being a young man, there's no way you were gonna let something hold you down. It's like,
Heck no, no. There's just too much. You know, I mean, there's those limits that you think that you got to worry about, like dating. Okay, it's like, okay, I've just met this girl, and how do I bring up the fact that I'm missing a leg? Well, you know what? I'm just gonna, like I said, I wear shorts a lot. I'm just gonna wear shorts near about all the time. So anybody that I do meet, any girl that I meet, they're gonna know right off the bat. There's no discussion about it. It's like, hey, I'm going out with this red-haired guy and he wears a prosthetic leg. They already know. We can talk about it. It's cool, without having to like, oh, by the way, this is on our 3rd date and I should let you know my leg ends kind of awkwardly without a foot. I hope you're okay with that. You know, you want to let you know, get it out there open in the beginning and go forward from there.
I'm guessing that's how you won your wife's heart.
Actually, I won my wife's heart because we were at a wedding and I was wearing a tuxedo. I'd just been hanging out with all my English relatives. I had a full head of hair at that time, and she thought she'd found herself a red-headed James Bond. You know, I looked great. I sounded great, and then she found out I wasn't. But she married me anyway. It was okay.
A match made in heaven.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I honestly love that mindset of, you know, I'm just gonna get it out there and get the chance to ask the question instead of, you know, being really self-conscious about it and then waiting and then things might fall. Yeah. Just put it out there, put all the cards on the table, and wherever they may fall.
Yep. Yep. And there's that openness and honesty that I think, especially in relationships, is if you're not going there right off the beginning, boy, you may be putting yourself into a bad situation later.
Yeah, yeah. And do you still ride your motorcycle?
Nope, I haven't ridden a motorbike since that day. My brother still rides. He is very careful. He's very cautious. And it is something that's always in the back of his mind, because it's one of the vulnerabilities that you have on a motorbike is that you've got no walls around you. You don't have a seatbelt. You don't have airbags. It's you and the road. If something happens, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. My brother has been very fortunate. Like I said, he's very, very careful. And when I was riding, you know, leathers, boots, full face helmet, gloves, the only injury I actually had from my accident was the loss of my leg. And that surprised the doctors because my body had been thrown so far. They assumed that I must have internal damage. And they actually did an incision right by my belly button to go look with a scope to see if there was internal damage, and they didn't find any. And they were shocked to see that was not the case, because normally in an accident like that there is some kind of internal damage, neck damage, head damage, something like that. But in my case, no.
And with your leg amputation, did it occur simultaneously when you were being pulled to the road, or when impact?
Well, it's right on the impact. The pickup truck bumper collided with my leg and severed the leg right off at that moment. So when I hit the ground, my leg was held on with basically just a flap of skin. And when I looked down, it's like, okay, that's gone. Should I do a tourniquet now, or should I wait? No, the capillaries are closed up. I've got a little time. Like I said, training kind of took over, and I started thinking about what I needed to do. But yeah, the impact actually severed the leg.
Are you below the knee, above the knee?
Below the knee. Below the knee, yeah.
On your right?
So, yeah, so I'm fortunate that, you know, I've got a knee, which is really good. So it's, my leg ends about 7 inches below my knee.
And was the driver of the truck okay?
No, he was pretty messed up, actually. He felt extremely guilty about this, and I actually came across, because I lived in a small town at the time, and he came across me once. I didn't recognize him. He saw me and apparently turned white and walked out crying.
Oh,
and
wow.
refused to, even talk to me or be around me because he felt so incredibly bad about what happened. He wasn't at fault. Stop signs were stolen. He wasn't at fault, and I've never borne him any malice or ill thought. It wasn't his fault, but he felt incredibly bad. And a few years later, I heard from someone else in town that he'd finally kind of got over it. That he said that it was a feeling of guilt that he could just not push away from his mind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope anyone watching this, especially young kids or adults, honestly, learn not to steal signs. They're there for a reason. You know.
Yes. Yeah, they are. That's what the stop signs are for, to prevent those accidents.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to know, in regards to your living with an amputation, was there anything specifically that you believe that you would not have been able to do, or you would never have thought about doing before your amputation, that now, because of your amputation, you're currently doing?
No, not really. I've always enjoyed doing active things: roller skating, soccer, hiking, backpacking, motorcycle riding, going to the beach, walking along the beach. There's nothing really that I did prior that I thought, oh, I'll never do this, but now I am doing it. I basically said, okay, everything that I did do, I'm just going to go do. And I've gone at it that way. I know there are some amputees like, you know what, I'm going to go parachuting. Never thought I'd go parachuting, but I'm going to go parachuting. I have no desire to go parachuting. If the plane isn't crashing, I'm staying in the plane, right? So, bungee jumping, I have no desire to jump off a bridge. Whether I'm tethered by a line or not, no, I'm going to stay on the bridge. It's perfectly sturdy. But yeah, what I did before, I'm doing now.
You're not really a thrill seeker. You're just an outdoorsy person.
Yeah. There's plenty of thrills just raising teenage boys. I don't need more thrills than that, tell you.
After your amputation, were there certain resources that you believe really helped you in the recovery process and adapting with going back to doing what you love to do? What resources were those that you found to be very beneficial for you?
A good prosthesist. That is for most amputees your first and foremost resource is your prosthesis. And now, here's the thing: being a prosthetic, someone who makes legs, there's the science to it, there's the medical side to it, there's the physical therapy side to it, there's the mechanics of it, there's the technology of it, the techniques, but there's also something that is hard to learn, and it's only really learned by experience and perhaps aptitude, and that is the art of making prosthetic legs. Because every single leg that you get, the socket, because it is custom fit, is unique and special. Your resource of your prosthesist, that's the person that can recommend for you the right socket, the right suspension sleeve, the right liners, the right socks, the right kind of shoes, all that kind of stuff. They're the ones that can give you the advice about what you could try, what you should maybe not try, but try this alternative to what you're trying to do. That's the resource you want to go to. And for some amputees, finding a good prosthesis is a struggle because they get someone who's like, I'm just pounding out legs. I'm just making legs, put the leg on. Call me in 6 months, right? And that does happen. I've seen and I've talked with other amputees where they've struggled finding a good prosthesis because that resource is your primary person, and they have to have that kind of almost artistic touch to putting together a leg that will work for you.
Have you found that having a prosthetist that also has an amputation, you're more likely to get a better experience with them than say someone who doesn't, or it doesn't matter? It depends.
It doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter really. I've worked with a prosthesist. One of the guys, was an amputee, but I wouldn't say he's any better or worse than the guy I'm working with now. Okay. It is really, okay, are you well trained? Are you well experienced? And do you have that almost artistic touch to be able to really understand and design and build that leg for that one unique person, for that one unique leg that can never be replicated.
Makes sense. Makes sense. When you had your amputation in 1992, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any resources like an amputee support group?
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't like online groups.
No, no. There was a support group at Harborview Medical that I went to twice, and I never went to again.
Oh, why is that?
Well, basically, it was a bunch of old guys sitting around complaining and whining about being an amputee. And it's like, you know what? I've got enough negative stuff in my head right now without listening to you guys. I need to spend my time with I need to spend time with positive people. People who will give me a challenge, people who will give me a positive reinforcement, people who have got, something good to say, right? Support groups are a good thing if you've got one that will lift you up. A support group that just helps you, where everyone's just venting and complaining and whining all the time. It's good to get it out once in a while and vent, but if that's the only thing that's going on, you don't want to be there.
So you left and you never looked back since. Been in the support group.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of the support groups that we have now through like Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm always trying to promote okay, look, we're missing a part. That doesn't mean we have to miss out on the fun. Get out there, go do stuff. And there's a lot of other amputees as well who have started Facebook pages, support groups, online groups, kind of the same idea. Like, you know what? We're going to go do something interesting here. We're going to go have some fun. And, I'm going to have, I'm going to go out on a walk with the dog and my grandkids, and I'm going to film it and put it on YouTube. It ain't much, but look, we're doing something fun, right? There are a lot of groups, though, that it's like basically this whole Facebook group is just one big whining session. It's like, okay, I'm not going to join that one. Skip that one, right?
At least they have their own group.
Yeah.
For that. What is something that you wish someone had told you or that you had known after you had your amputation that you would recommend to someone or tell someone else who's about to get an amputation or that has just gotten an amputation?
I would have to say the thing that I did not know that I learned was that the limits that you thought you had are not your real limits. There's the limits that you've got in your head. There's the limits that are built into the prosthetic or into the technology that you've got or into the condition that you've got. And sometimes it looks like, okay, those are set. But I found out pretty quickly that those limits can be pushed. Those limits can be, like I said previously, you can get to those limits. You can push them a little bit. And that's something I just kind of learned. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to go to those limits and push it. And I found that over time, I've been able to push those limits a little bit further. And also the limits of the technology have constantly expanded. The prosthetic that I had when I first lost my leg, I could have climbed mountains like I do now, but it would have taken a lot longer. I would have been in a lot more pain. It would have been a lot more exhausting, and I would not enjoy it. The limits of the technology have expanded to the point now with the prosthetic that I've got. I'm hiking along, and I'm hiking faster than the Boy Scouts I'm hiking with, and I'm, getting up on their ankles and saying, look, hey, I'm old and I've got one leg. You guys should not have me catching up to you. Move it, okay? Because like I said, the limits I thought I had, they weren't really the limits. They could be pushed. And until I can't push them anymore, I'm just going to keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would give credit to the human spirit of sometimes we don't know how far we can go until that's the only place we have, right? So
yeah.
What are some preconceived notions that people have when someone with an amputated leg or when they see you? Amputation.
And that kind of goes back to the concept of limits. There's people who assume that because you're missing a leg or you're wearing a prosthetic or you've got some kind of disability that there are limits that you are just stuck behind, that you're not able to figure out how to get around them. So, one of my neighbors, we're putting up Christmas lights when I first moved to our new house. I'm getting up a ladder, and my neighbor says, Glenn, are you going to climb up that ladder? I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, because I can't put the Christmas lights from here. I need, and I suddenly realized he thinks I can't climb the ladder because of my prosthetic, because I'm an amputee. Like, oh, yeah, okay, no, I'm climbing this ladder. Let me show you. Here I go. Do you need some help with your ladder? Yeah, so there's this preconceived notion that because you are a person with disability, and that's true of just about anybody with some kinds of disabilities, right? Is that, oh, there are limits that you can't get around. There's you're stuck somewhere. Like, no, there's ways around a lot of this stuff, right? Now, granted, okay, there are some limits that I can't do, like, for instance, kicking the soccer ball. When I kick a soccer ball with my prosthetic foot, I can only kick it really one way, right? Because the foot doesn't move like a normal foot. So that's, okay, preconceived notion, you're not gonna be able to kick it like everyone else. Hey, you're right, I can't. However, that doesn't stop me from, playing a game of soccer. I can still do that, right? So yeah, there's, like I said, preconceived notions, they're often easily washed away by the evidence of what you do.
Yeah, very true. Very true. You mentioned that you were in the Navy, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In your service. Let me make sure I put that out there.
Oh, sure. Hey, no problem.
Was it after your amputation? Were you still in the Navy, or was this before?
No. Yeah, I was in the Navy from 1985 to 1989, pretty much at the end of the Cold War, and then lost my leg in '92. And I did some work with the local Army hospital over by Fort Lewis, McCord, doing some volunteer work for them. Because yeah, there's a lot of guys as well. It's like, hey, I know this looks bad, but trust me, you'll get through it. You'll get over it, and you'll be out there again hunting and fishing with your buddies. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you get, so I'm guessing you get a lot of people who tell you, thank you for your service. When they see your amputation,
yeah, there's that, it's like, oh my gosh, he must have lost his leg in Afghanistan. It's like, no. Okay, let me clarify a few things for you. I'm sorry. You may have had that in your head, but no. Yes, I was in the Navy, but no. So, like, okay, I sometimes wonder if I should just get a T-shirt that has that explanation on it and just wear that around, make it easier for everyone.
Yeah, I was doing some research online, and I found that a lot of people who were in the military, a lot of veterans, even people who are currently serving in the military, the #1 cause for amputation is something like motorcycle accident. It's something like diabetes or vascular disease followed by trauma, which is usually a motorcycle accident of some sort, or war. But motorcycle accident seems to be a really big cause for amputation.
Yeah. Like I said, you've got no seatbelt, you've got no walls around you. You're just you and the road and other cars.
And I wanted to touch a little bit on your hobbies that you're doing right now. So you said like you're a very outdoorsy person, hiking, backpacking, What type of mountains are you climbing? I think what we should talk about first is your channel, the Amputee Wisdom on YouTube. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What is it about? What really encouraged you to start this channel?
So I started Amputee Outdoors because I was between jobs. I had some time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start videotaping, some of these things about hiking as an amputee. Because hiking, there's lots and lots of videos about hiking and people going out backpacking. But when you're an amputee, there's a few tips and tricks, right? And I thought, I'm going to do this to help other amputees, figure out how they can go hiking as well. Recommend some gear. I make some of my own gear, so that was kind of a fun thing to put on there as well. But also, I just wanted to make it available to other amputees to see that, yeah, this can be done. Maybe you can't go and climb up some of the places I've been to, but you can still go for a walk in the woods. You can still, go do like a mile hike. If that's what you can do, then do it. If you think you can work your way up to a 2-mile hike, do it. Now, if you're going to go up some of the harder terrain, well, hey, here's a recommendation: what kind of boots you should wear, or what kind of hiking poles you should use, or what you should bring with you, or hey, I've been out on 3-day, 4-day hikes, and I carry this with me because it helps with my socket, or it helps with my stump, or things like that. To be able to give other amputees tips and tricks that I've learned, but also to just kind of inspire them. And I've had people that responded on social media like, hey, I'm glad you're doing this, and I've tried to do it, and I've done a few things, and I'm glad you've kind of given me the confidence that I could do it. Like, good, good. I mean, you don't have to climb up, Mount Rainier or Mount Everest, right? There's lots of places just around everyone's neighborhoods, around their state or the county, where they could go and enjoy the outdoors.
What's your favorite place to hike?
Just about anywhere in the Cascade Mountain Range here in Washington. I can't tell you there's a favorite place, because every place that I've gone to, it's like, wow, this is great, this is beautiful, this is amazing. And then I go to another, mountain or river. Wow, this is beautiful, this is great, this is amazing. Wait, the last one was too. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next one. Because there are just so many places that are just, they're beautiful, and I enjoy walking through the woods, and I enjoy, just being in nature and enjoying that confidence that I'm doing something that's physically challenging, and also requires, that kind of, it gives you that ability to just kind of decompress and pull yourself out of the craziness of normal life, and just enjoy, the company of other hikers, trees, rivers, valleys, mountains, streams, lakes, birds, mountain goats, deer. It gets you out of the normal environment that you're in, and gives your brain a chance to relax, calm down, and kind of just, get ready for the next time you have to jump back into the craziness of our lives.
Got 1 foot and daddy ain't got none. 2 folks got but 5 toes, they can't walk near mine run. Rock and roll and hopping round the place, get to drinking in the wheelchair race. 5 toes clean up, no more, no less. 5 little bees, they're missing all the rest.